This town ain't big enough for the two of us. One of us is going to have to go.
Welcome to Take Two Radio. We are pleased to bring you interviews with people in the entertainment and music industry, discussions and recaps of the 4 remaining daytime soaps. That's The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and Days of Our Lives, as well as various other shows. For upcoming and previous shows, check take2radio.com. That's with the number 2. And you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and other streaming apps. Follow us on social media at Take Two Radio, and thanks for listening.
Good evening, and welcome to Take Two Radio, Guns and Beer Slingers, I guess. Hi, Anthony?
Yeah. Showdown in the square.
I tried so hard not to laugh. Oh, my gosh. That was
How is
so
everybody handling the heat?
That's Anthony's signature line at just about every show. So.
Oh gosh.
How's
I
bringing it up, guys?
I wasn't expecting it, so.
No, I almost choked with that one.
Well, I'm Pam, and I have Anthony, and I have Candace, and I have David, and we're all in a heat wave. Yes. So we're all in a heat wave. What are we all going to do? Stay home?
I did.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did. I was off today.
Yeah, I was just watching the weather right before we came on and sent David a picture that we're under a deadly heat wave across most of America. So all you guys listening out there, please stay safe. Don't overdo it. There's, a few days of this hotness, and it's just not the hot. It's the humidity on top of it, which makes it deadlier. And most places are going to be well over 100. So stay hydrated and stay cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect time to catch up on your soaps, web series included.
Yep.
And public service.
If you can watch in the shower, all the better.
If you have elderly or disabled friends or family members, check in on them.
Yeah.
Make sure they've got air conditioning going, they've got water and ice, and just that they're doing okay.
And your animals. Don't forget your animals, your pets. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
people.
They can get well overheated way before you do. So, yeah, keep them inside as much as possible and keep them hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
So, now that our public service announcement is over with, tonight we are so pleased to have with us actor, writer, producer, director, and creator of the award-winning digital series Old Dogs and New Tricks, the one and only Leon Acord. But before Leon comes on to speak with us, I wanted to let our listeners know who have yet to see the series. It was not only created by Leon, but he also stars in it as Nathan. It also stars Curt Bonnem as Brad King, David Pevsner as Ross Stein, and Jeffrey Patrick Olson as Muscles. And just a little description of it. The sex life end for gay men as they face 50. If you watch the series, you'll know the answer to that question. If you haven't seen the series yet, you can now watch it on Amazon Prime, and I highly recommend you go over there after our show. Right, guys?
Absolutely.
I'd see it again.
Oh, yeah. I watched it more than once. Well, we do have our guest with us, and we're going to get some answers out of this dude. Welcome, Leon.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Oh, we're all fabulous. How are you?
Overheated.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I'm it's vitamin water, actually.
I'm having a nice little mudslide.
Ooh, nice. I should have made a sidecar for the occasion.
You should have.
David, do you have a
What
musical?
about those fuzzy navels? Who was having the fuzzy navels?
Oh, I
never had one.
I skipped the fuzzy navel for a mudslide. I felt I wanted something creamy, and that has
What's
nothing
in a
to do with the
mudslide?
show. Hardy har har.
I bring out the worst in people.
I don't know.
The best.
Depends how you take it, I guess.
Yeah.
So we were all discussing the weather and how hot it's going to be. Are you going to be staying in, or is you're in California, or where are you now?
I'm in Culver City in California right now, and it's
okay.
low 80s. It's actually really pleasant, but I'm flying in to Indiana Saturday.
Yeah, and we're having.
And it's gonna be about 110 or 120.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Get ready for the heat wave.
Oh my gosh.
Well, before we get into any of the other questions, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody why you're flying into Indiana?
Oh my gosh, it's a little backstory. I'm from Indiana, so just so people know that, as I tell them that there's this terrific film festival called Heartland Film back in Indianapolis. It's one of the most prestigious film festivals, actually. It's Academy Award accredited, and it's just an amazing festival. And they also do a second festival called Indie Shorts, which is like a whole week of just short films, nothing but short films, which most festivals, they program lots of features, but then they'll just, they'll stick in a short film, before the feature, maybe have one night of all shorts, but this festival is like 7 days, day and night of shorts, which is terrific. Anyway, I'm flying back to Indiana because the Indie Shorts Festival, in conjunction with the Indianapolis LGBT Film Festival, are joining forces for a night of queer LGBT film and web series called Indie Shorts Pride Stride on July 24th. And they're showing 6 or 7 of our best episodes. They're flying the entire cast to Indianapolis. Well, not the entire cast. 6 of us. The 4 dogs, Amanda Gary, who plays Lydia, and the fabulous Bruce Elhart, who plays the evil Nelson Van Eddy, flying us all out. After the screening, there'll be a Q&A. There's this huge, they're not doing a red carpet, they're doing a rainbow carpet, which I've never seen one before. Isn't that cool?
It is. It really is.
Yeah. There'll be a Q&A after, and then they're doing this big blowout party at a place called Metro, which I've never been before, but I'm told it's like Indianapolis's biggest, best gay drag bar. So, yeah, it's a big to-do. So I'm willing to bear the heat. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, needless to say, but really be careful and congratulations. I mean, that's such an honor.
Thank you. It is. I don't think it's totally hit me yet. I think the night of the event I'm going to be verklempt. My parents are going to be there. The cast will be there. Friends from high school I haven't seen in 30 years. My parents have never seen the show. I've kind of protected them from it. They're liberal, so it's not like a religious thing or anything, but, who wants to see their son talking about sex and kissing boys half their age, and et cetera, et cetera. But you know what? It's not a in your face type of series, where it's a story. I mean, I think they would be okay with it. I have to say, I've been really surprised since the very beginning of I think we may have as many, if not more, straight women viewers, I should say, as gay male viewers, which I never expected. But I like to flatter myself and think it's because the show's kind of universal, and hopefully you don't have to be gay to kind of identify with it.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I think gay men,
go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I think gay men say what straight women wish they could say and get away with.
Right.
I agree with you completely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're very lucky that way, aren't we?
Aren't we? You're the Betty Whites of the world. Betty White can
Right.
say anything and get away with it.
Absolutely. Well, see, that's the great thing about getting older that, you know, when you're younger, you don't think about, but, you know, Kathleen Turner, the actress, calls them the fuck you 50s. That we spend, up until that point, we spend most of our life worrying about how's this going to affect our future. And by 50, you're like, I'm in my future, screw it. You know, I'm sorry for the language. I should have warned you that I was going to drop an F word. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We're on internet radio, don't forget.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Well, I know, but it's still, I'm going to Indiana where you don't just drop the F word. That's the thing about my parents. I mean, I was raised, I've never said the F word in front of my mother, ever. And she's going to be hearing me say it a lot, seeing me say it at the screening. Sorry, Mom.
Is she going to have bars of soap in her bag? That's what you need to worry about. I brought you into this world, and I will wash your mouth out of this world.
I may steal that line. That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, Anthony can come up with some good ones. Well, you know, ageism was a big thing, whether real or imagined, in Old Dogs and New Tricks. Do you think it's more or less accepted in Hollywood now versus, let's say, 10 years ago?
Ageism? You mean getting older? I think it's still just as bad. Otherwise, you wouldn't have so many people getting plastic surgery and injections and all the work. I mean, I think it's very rare. I mean, I've, knock wood, so far haven't done anything, but I'd say probably 80% of working actors over 55 have probably had something done, both men and women. And I think they do it because it's still an issue. And it's getting harder to, like, tell people's ages anyway. It's like, are you 30 or 50? I mean, are you playing the mother or the grandmother?
Yeah.
So,
This is true. But it's sad that it has to be that way, because just because you get older and you get a few wrinkles doesn't make you any less talented.
Yeah, and I think in some ways it makes you more interesting to look at. I have nothing against plastic surgery. If it makes you feel more you, I'm all for it. But if it's motivated by, career pressure or that kind of thing, then I'm like, maybe you should think twice before you go under. I don't know.
Sure, I totally agree with that. I mean, and I'm going to not name names, but I've seen quite a few who've undergone plastic surgery, totally changed their face or their look, and not always for the better.
And
that's
I'll tell you a story that a former colleague told me about. Oh, God, do I dare say her name? I can say her name, Joan Collins. There, sue me. Anyway, they were at a party and they were talking about another actress who had done so much to her face that it was really a tragic accident. And that Joan said, you can't be upset at people when they point fingers at you when you do everything all at once. That maintaining your looks is sort of like maintaining your house. You do the foundation 1 year. 5 years later, you redo the shutters. 5 years after that, you redo the roof. Conscious, rational maintenance. I don't have a problem with.
It also affects the performance. That old joke about, I said it also affects the performance. That old joke about, I have to tell you, I'm feeling angry right now.
I'm laughing hysterically, can't you tell? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Although, if you're smart about it, Jeffrey Patrick Olson, who plays Muscles, he's actually a doctor, an MD. He does, I don't know, I wouldn't say he's a plastic surgeon. I don't know the exact title. He does, let's just say he's a dermatologist, because I really don't know exactly what he calls it. But I remember we were in the back of a car being driven to one of the locations one night, and we were talking about Botox. And he's very honest about what he's done. And I'm like, but can you move your, can you, like, frown? Can you, like, get those lines between your eyes and he, like, actually showed me that he could. So I think if you're careful about it, if you don't go overboard, you don't necessarily have to freeze your face. But
right.
I think one of the reasons I've never done it is I think I have an addictive personality. And I think if I thought, ooh, that worked, well, then let's do this. Oh, if that worked, let's do this. And I'm
with you on that. I think to myself, well, if I could get this done, but then that wouldn't look right, so I should probably get this done, you know, and then it's like, forget it. I'll be in the hospital every day for a year trying to fix what I think needs to be fixed. And then, of course, it comes down to money and courage, because I don't have the courage to, go through all that either.
Yeah, and I've never had surgery. At age 56, can you believe it? I've never had to go under the knife, so I don't really want to start on my face. I'm going to wait for one of those.
Yeah.
Wait for something more vital to go wrong.
The wonderful thing about those houses is eventually the bulldozer has to be called in because the foundation can't support what's been done to beautify, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny. You'll be at, like, Century City Mall or something out here, and you'll see a woman from behind, and she has fabulous long straight blonde hair, and, you can tell from her figure that everything's where it's supposed to be and nothing's where it shouldn't. And then she turns around and you're like, oh my God. Oh, okay. She's like 30 years older than you thought she was when you saw her from behind. The
big thing here in New York now is called cosmetic replenishment, because there is so much over surgery, over Botox, that now these dermatologists and plastic surgeons are kind of teaming up for dual therapies, and they call it cosmetic replenishment, and it will keep you from going too far.
That's it's a good theory.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Replenishment. Or
we'll look back a year from now and see how well it's working.
Yeah. But, all of that said, the pressure out here to stay young and beautiful, if you start young and beautiful, is enormous. And I think it's even worse now with, like, Instagram and, the whole influencer era. People want to be photo ready at a drop of a hat. Thank God I'm a character actor. I had to worry about that for about 10 minutes in my career, and then just kind of went, okay, nobody cares, let it go.
Well, last we saw the guys, they were, I'm not going to say. I want people to watch. That was a little teaser. But I don't want to ruin it for anybody either.
Well, you can say the last time you saw them, they were celebrating the passage of marriage equality. That was in our last installment.
There you go. But I did want to say one thing is I would like to have seen Nathan slap that dingbat Nelson just once. Sorry, Bruce, if you're listening.
That's funny. We've joked about how our very last scene, the very last scene that we should ever do with Nathan and Nelson, Nathan should just haul off and punch Nelson and then go, oh, shit, I really did that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that really happened.
Oh, my gosh. Just once, Leon. Just once.
Yeah, or reverse. Nelson should just haul off and
No, that wouldn't work for me. I mean, because he's the sassy, in-your-face, not nice guy, like you said.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
And you've been taking it for so long that it's like, no, it's time to end that.
I had to, I pretty much rewatched the whole series between getting it ready for Amazon and then picking the episodes for the festival. And I have to say, Nathan's not exactly very nice to Nelson. I mean, he in his own way, I mean, he's not like go for the jugular, but he's You know, like that, I love the scene where like Nelson's breaking down about how he lost his job, and Nathan actually breaks out in a smile. That's really nice.
But I think Nathan gives what he gets. You know, I don't think he purposely does it all the time. So
no.
Yeah. And I do think you're right. Sooner or later, pow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's almost like
definitely.
a takeoff of Jerry and Newman.
Oh, from Seinfeld?
Yeah. The two of you.
Hello, Newman. I never thought of that, but yeah, I can see that. I love that show. Oh my God.
I'm probably one of the few that's only seen a few episodes, and that's been in reruns lately. I never really watched it.
Yeah, I have a niece who's about mid-30s, and she was fanatical for it. Not in its original run because she was, 3, but in reruns. And last time I saw her, we played it was like a trivia game that was just based on Seinfeld. And oh my God, she kicked my ass like 3 times in a row. And I thought I'd seen them all. Apparently, I didn't retain the episodes. But anytime I'm flipping through and see it, it's like, okay, that's subtle on Seinfeld.
Well, I'll have to watch more of the reruns to see what the big thing was about it. I mean, it's funny, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand all the characters yet. So, where it was going. So, more
I like
late
that it
night
just
TV for me.
It walked a real fine line.
No soup for you.
Is it watch-worthy? The thing I like about Seinfeld is that it really walked a thin line between quote-unquote reality and just absolute absurdity. But you still managed to, consider these characters as real people, even though some of the things that happened were so absurd and coincidental and brilliant, what writing that show
Yeah,
was.
I'm still trying, and I don't know the character's name, and I can't think of his real name or anything, but the guy with the hair.
Michael Richards.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Kramer.
It's Michael Richards.
Kramer, yeah. He seems very special.
In the 90s, when I was first starting out as an actor in San Francisco, my agent, casting notices almost always had Seinfeld-like or a Kramer-like character, and my agent kept sending me out for those parts. And at the time, I'm like, what? I don't know. But now, looking back, I'm like, okay, big hair, kind of spastic and tall, and yeah, okay, all right, I see it. And I had a lot of bowling shirts back then too, so. Okay.
No.
Yeah. But another parallel is Seinfeld always gave us what we wish we could do in those situations in our own lives, and your show kind of does the same thing. It's a little louder than we give ourselves permission to be in real life. Yeah.
Thank you. It's kind of like that's just something else I kind of noticed watching it over again. Is it is kind of like the perfect world for gay men. Yeah. They've never really had to deal, except very rare exception, with like prejudice or job losses or fear of violence or any of that stuff. Yeah. It is kind of a fantasy, and as a result, they're able to say exactly what they want without fear of being smacked or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. One day, like before I pass, I would just like to make maybe a recording and say, to you, blah blah blah. To you, blah blah blah. Get it all out there.
Well, as you get older, you might find you just want to do it. I don't know. If they really deserve it, it might be more fun to do it while you're alive. If they're really, really rotten. Oh.
Well, you normally, well, not normally, but I guess, many people, before they pass, they'll do a recording or a video or whatever for their loved ones that they leave behind. And I just think this would be a different take on it.
To the not-so-loved ones left behind.
Right.
To Becky H. from high school. I remember every moment.
Right, exactly. Exactly, that kind of thing. That you kind of always. I'm the type of person that doesn't usually snap at people right away. Like, it takes a lot for me to get there.
Yeah.
And it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and then when I explode, well, you know how they say this shit hits the fan. And people are afraid and they run and that kind of thing. So
I kind of have that too. I found when you have a reputation for being a nice guy, you really don't have to lose your shit too much for people to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
if you just kind of like lower your voice and cut your eyes a bit at them, they're like, oh my God, he's not smiling. What's wrong? So yeah.
Should we be
afraid? A few well-placed, intelligent words will scare the shit out of anybody. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God, he's got a brain. Run!
Exactly.
Oh. Well, another thing I wanted to mention is Nathan was the go-to friend with his friends having all those problems. And thankfully, Nathan had therapists to vent to, but even they were something left to be desired.
Oh, but they were great stars. They were great. Patrick Bristow, oh, my God. I had so much fun that morning shooting that scene with him. He's so funny. And then Terry Garber, she's actually become a really good friend. She's great. Oh my God, she plays so many wicked, hateful women, on so many shows, and she's so not like that at all. It kind of proves my theory that really the only people who are good at playing bitches are the people who are funny and have senses of humor, so they know how to do it in a way that's entertaining and not grating. She's so funny and nice and sweet and intuitive, and I just love her to death.
Now, some of the other guest stars on there for our listeners was Greg Louganis, Tom Beards, Ian Buchanan, Catherine Lee Scott, Gloria Gifford, Michael Kearns.
Actually, we didn't get Gloria. She was agreed to do it, and then when we got ready to shoot, she had a scheduling conflict. So we replaced her with Mo Gaffney from Absolutely Fabulous. So, and she was absolutely fabulous.
Okay, when I was doing my write-up for the show, I just copied names down.
Oh no, that's even no.
You have to fix
you're
that.
not. You're not to blame. Wikipedia, which is supposed to be, the voice of truth, even they have Gloria on there. And Jim J. Bullock, who was going to do our show and had to back out for scheduling reasons. So they're not perfect. But let's see, who did it? Mo Gaffney. We had Rutanya Alda, who played Carol Ann in Mommy Dearest. Oh, my God, she's a hoot. And she will tell you anything about Mommy Dearest. You just have to ask. She's so cool and fun. And what a life she's had and a career. Oh, my God.
Well, let me tell you, what my daughter and I do with that is when she was young, her and I sat and watched Mommy Dearest together. And it's always been one of her favorite movies as well as mine. Maybe we're sick in the head, I don't know. But a lot of times we will say Mommy Dearest and Daughter Dearest. That's our thing between us.
Well, it's huge, and it's huge in the gay community. And in fact, in the season, she was a recurring guest star. She was in 3 or 4 episodes, and that whole season, we laced the whole season with little quotes from Mommy Dearest, and then did a contest at the end. Whoever can pick them all and tell us will win Rutanya's book. But Mommy Dearest is huge in the gay world, or at least my generation of the gay world. I don't know if the younger kids have watched it.
Well, it's something to be watched. I mean, whether half of it's true or half of it's not, or all of it is or all of it's not. I mean, it's a decent movie to sit back and watch.
I remember
no matter
seeing
how
it.
you take it.
I saw it on a date with my very first boyfriend in the theater 130 years ago when it first came out. And we got into this huge fight afterwards because he was all, Faye Dunaway's going to win the Oscar. It's hers. She's going to win it for this. There's no way she can. I'm like, oh, will you please get real? First of all, these kind of movies never win Oscars because Hollywood doesn't like movies that attack Hollywood. And she didn't have a director. She was over the top. She's not going to, and like the whole bus ride home, I mean, we were practically yelling at each other. It was so, the only kind of argument you can have when you're 19. So.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and let David ask his questions.
Oh, cool.
Are you
Hit
ready?
me, David.
All right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, David?
I'm doing good. I said, well, other than that, it says you wrote, produced, and starred in a one-man show called Last Sunday in June. What, if any, are the pros and cons of doing a one-man show?
Oh, gosh. I think the biggest pro was after I did it, it was a tremendous boost to my confidence. I stupidly did it. It was like probably the second thing I did once I decided to take acting seriously and really pursue it. It really, requires more experience, but I was a fool back then. But once I did it, even though it wasn't 100% successful, it was like, oh my God, I did that. Okay, well, I guess I can act. All right, no one booed, no one walked out. People laughed when they were supposed to and cried when they were supposed to. All right, cool. The cons, oh gosh. Unless you have benefactors, it can be costly to pull off because, you have to rent the spaces yourself and kind of produce it yourself. But I highly recommend it. And plus, there are different kinds of one-man shows. Back when I did mine, it was the late 90s, and solo shows were all the rage in San Francisco, thanks to Lily Tomlin. And kind of the formula was, you'd be one actor playing a bunch of different characters without costume changes or, any props or sets. But I grew up loving the Carol Burnett show. So I'm like, screw that. I want costumes. Yes. I want wigs. Mm-hmm. I want, okay, well, we'll do. So we shot some the show's set on the day of the gay pride parade in San Francisco. So we actually went to the pride parade and shot video inserts to buy us time so I could make costume changes. So I'm a black pregnant lesbian with this huge baby bump and a drag queen named Sister Wonder Woman in my Wonder Woman costume. And, but you got this closeted movie star who's trapped in a hotel room because he's scared to go out into the parade. A guy, speaking of videotapes, a guy who, longtime sufferer of AIDS who decides to commit suicide on that day because it's significant and videotapes his last will and testament, kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
Wow.
It was great fun. And plus, another benefit was, the characters are all, who would cast me to play a black lesbian? First of all,
For real.
So it was the opportunity to play things that I would never, ever get a chance to do, as an actor for hire.
That's true.
So, it was great fun. Then, kind of to be able to play homage to Carol Burnett a little bit and all that stuff.
That's true. That's amazing that you can put that all together for yourself.
I wasn't necessarily the black lesbian. I have to admit that was the weakest link of the show. That's why I say it wasn't totally successful, because that was the one character I never really cracked. And 10 years later, the first time I saw Wanda Sykes, I came out, that's her!
Yeah.
Well, I love her. She's so good.
I hope I didn't blow your speakers. Gosh.
No.
All your levels just went right into the red.
No, you didn't.
No, we're fine.
Although that would be good, though. Okay. Keeping with the times, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, Old Dog Newt's Trick celebrated President Obama's ruling for equality for everybody.
Yeah.
So what process did you guys have to go through to include President Obama in your feature? Although I do know that he was played by a couple others, but did you have to go through Washington and like that? And
actually, it's a little-known fact. I didn't know this until I wrote it, and then went to our producers like, how do we afford this? Speeches by presidents are public domain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we just went to the website and downloaded it, and then we hired an actor who could imitate his voice, so we could alter just a little bit of the speech. But yeah, it was for free. We didn't have to pay a cent.
Oh wow! You didn't even have to go through him.
No, not at all. Although I think he would approve. Well, I don't know if he would approve hearing Obama say, if they don't fuck things up. I think that was the line.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know that.
Other than that, I think he'd be fine with it.
I think he would have liked it.
Cool.
I think
cool.
I'm pretty sure he would have too. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
My third question
well, thank
is,
you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a third one, and my question is, the woman who plays Lydia is a real trip. Where did you find Amanda Gary, and what does she bring to the table for you and your peers?
Oh my God, she brings everything. I first met her. I produced a show called Carved in Stone. It was the second production of it. We did it once in San Francisco, and when we produced it in L.A., we needed an actress. In San Francisco, we used Matthew Martin, a fabulous female impersonator, well, a male actress. That's what he likes to be billed as, who played Judy Garland and Betty Davis. And so when we were casting it down here, we thought, let's go crazy and see if we can get a woman to play Judy Garland. And as it turns out, Amanda has made sort of a side career of playing Judy Garland. And we had 3 days of auditions. I think Amanda was the first person to audition and was perfect. And then we had to sit through 3 days of less than perfect Judy Garland. But it was funny when she walked in for that audition, our eyes met, and I just immediately felt like she and I are going to be really good friends. And turns out I was right. And so when I was right, she's actually the only character that I wrote specifically for an actor. Well, and Nelson Vanetti too. But the only one initially from the initial script. So I'm like, okay. My husband actually said, you need a woman somewhere here. And I thought, Nathan does need a secretary. And by that point, Amanda and I were really good friends, and she jumped at it. And what she brings to the table is boundless enthusiasm. And she's such a trooper. On opening night of Carved in Stone, in fact, her daughter went into labor with Amanda's first grandchild. I hope she doesn't mind that I said grandchild.
Yeah.
And she called and told me, and I'm like, well, get to the hospital. We'll call your understudy. Don't even worry about it. It's opening night, but please don't worry. She's like, no. I'm going to be there. Called the daughter, found out how many centimeters. She said she told her daughter, well, put a cork in it. I'll be there at 11 o'clock. And she came and did the show and was fabulous. And I think the baby was born around 12:30. So it all worked out.
Wow.
But she's such a trooper. And our last special, she had just recovered from surgery on something in her leg and was walking with a cane. And I could tell she was in pain between takes. But then, as soon as Arvin said action, she became Lydia, and just, you'd never know it. But she's also a great friend. I love her to death.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She really is, and so talented. We've only scratched the surface of what she can do.
Well, thank you, David.
Thank you very much for answering.
Thanks, David.
Next up is Candace.
Candace.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. You've been awfully quiet all along.
I've just been taking it all in.
Okay.
And so, just like getting it, I'm just like, okay, interesting here, because it actually, it's funny because earlier you guys were talking about how would you describe the show, like Sex in the City for gay men. And that was actually one of my first questions, but I'm going to retweet this. I'm going to retwerk this question.
Okay.
So I always say, because I'm a teacher, so I'm going to make you think. So
God love you. I love teachers. Hit me.
Thank you.
Hit me with your best shot.
So, all right. How would you describe the show to people who haven't watched it, but instead of saying, it's a great show, use drinks to describe the show?
Work.
Use drinks? Like how would, if the show was a drink, how would...
Yep.
Oh, I would say, it's actually a lot like a sidecar, which has sugar around the rim. It's it kicks a punch, but it's so sweet and so smooth that it goes down like it's punch, even though it's like triple sec and brandy and just a little lemon juice. I off the top of my head, that's my non-brilliant answer.
We'll give you an A. I give you an A. I give you an A for that. Yeah, you get an A with a gold star. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Miss Candace.
You're welcome. Okay. Second question. Okay.
Uh-huh.
What are some of your guilty pleasures that you can say on the show?
Well, at 56, at age 56, I can say probably all of them on the show at this point. Probably Lawrence and I, oh my gosh, especially on Sunday nights, which is a big TV night. There's so much to watch, but we get lazy. We like to put on stuff, what we call friendly television, something like movies we've seen 100 times, like First Wives Club or Dolores Claiborne, or that's one of my guilty pleasures, is just watching old favorite movies over and over.
That's a guilty pleasure. A lot of us watch. A lot of us watch old movies, or in my case, Lifetime movies on Sundays.
I mean, we'll like eat dinner or talk or putter around the house, whatever, while they're on, and like run to the screen. It's like, oh, it's just that scene. Yeah, okay. Now back to you clean. But yeah, comfort TV.
There you go. Okay. Now this is your big test. This is going to be the big question. Okay, so
the lightning round.
Right. This is your big moment.
I've been pacing, so I'll sit down for this.
There you go. Everybody has a life motto in which they live by. What would you say is your life motto and why?
Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you who gave me it before I tell you what it is. My high school drama coach signed my high school yearbook, my senior year, with this. And it's something I still follow. God love her. Her name was Patsy Ronk. I just want to put that out there. She wrote, although you dance to your own drummer, keep in mind there's safety in numbers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. To a boy growing up on the farm in Indiana who was obviously a little gay boy, that it meant a lot. It really did. Wise words. And not just, for my own safety, but, now I see it. She was also, the whole thing about, they use the word tribe now, which I really believe in, finding your tribe.
Yeah.
She was a smart woman. So, yeah, that would be my answer. That was an easy one. I thought that was the tough question.
Well, see, that's what happens when you're a teacher. You put the fear in the kids to make them.
Well, for others, it might have been harder, if they don't have a motto that they live by, or they had to come up with something. But
I just written about it recently in a book I wrote, so it was kind of on the top of my head. If you'd asked me that a year ago, I probably would have had 5 minutes of going, But no, it was really that advice when I moved from Indiana to San Francisco in the mid '80s, when AIDS was starting to happen and straight people were losing their shit. Her quote came to mind, and I thought, I'm getting to San Francisco where, there are plenty of us. Nobody's freaking out about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
There's my tribe. Yeah, may have saved my life. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're happy about that.
She's just one of the great teachers. That is why I love teachers today, because those teachers, you have 2 or 3, if you're lucky, who just connect and who touch your life as well as educate you. And God bless teachers, because they are so undervalued.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've only had a couple myself, and I remember my 6th grade teacher and one of my 8th grade teachers, and you have that special connection with them, and you really pay attention to what they're saying, other than some of your other teachers, you just go because you have to go, and you listen because you have to listen. But
the important thing is that they pay attention to what you're saying. That's a big part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Candace. And last but not least, we have Anthony.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Time
sometimes it is dun 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 dun. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Well, what's coming out of my mouth first is all G-rated. No. I want to start out with, girl, it's family time.
All right. Let's let our hair down, shall we?
Yes. Well, the hair's the only thing we can let down on this show, but I just came off of World Pride here in New York, and I just want to give you a compliment first, because I was in 3 different conversations about the show. So that alone should give you a boost and a boon.
God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's being watched and watched well. Having said that, I think my question might be a little campy hard, and it deals with camp. I was wondering, when you set the tone of the writing, of the characters, the development, and so on and so forth, there's a high intelligent level of camp. How did you come to the balance that you found between camp and reality? And, what was the process like?
Wow, thank you. First of all, let me say that. What a compliment. The only time it was a conscious effort was when I decided that Nelson and Nathan's cat fights, or dog fights, I should say, had to be fantasies. Because if they really happened, it would put the show in a different milieu. It would be a different show. So in terms of that was a conscious effort. Like, okay, we're going to go way over the top with camp, and then we're going to reel it back in and hedge our bets after all. But the rest of it, I think, is just, gosh, I've never really thought about it. I think it's probably just my own sensibility of being kind of sort of campy, but kind of serious, but kind of. I always wanted the show to have sort of like a kind of a serious underbelly, despite all the silliness that goes on in it, and that was a conscious effort. But I don't know. When I first started writing it, I just thought, screw it. I want to write gay characters who talk like the gay men I've known in my life. And I'm not saying all gay men talk like that, because we don't. But for my specific, I'm going to use milieu again. You're going to think it's like my new $2 word. For the milieu of gay men that I've kind of always been around, that's kind of how they talk. That's kind of how they are. Just kind of slips in, just because you're comfortable with who you're talking to, so you can get away with it. I wish I had a better answer, but I've never really thought of it. But I'll have a great answer for you in 3 days.
Well, feel free to post it to the website.
Okay, cool. All right.
That answers the question pretty well. my second question is there's a lot of Brads out there. There's a lot of Muscles out there. Can you give us maybe a two-sentence blob about how their voices came to be? How you solidified who they were going to be in the series.
I have to admit that all four of them are in their own ways kind of shades of my own personality. At certain times of my life or at certain moods of my life. I won't tell you what I have in common with Brad, but with Muscles.
Shall we guess?
I think you answered it without answering it, maybe.
Well, good, because the assumption is fabulous. With Muscles, when I was single and in my 20s, I was really rigid about I'm only going to date. Not doctors and lawyers like Muscles is, but I was very kind of like, they have to be respectable and straight-laced and, husband material. And other than smoking pot occasionally back in those days, I was really kind of a square. So that's kind of my Muscles. With Ross, it's, I've been married for 6 years. We've been together for 27. I'm an actor. My husband is a successful workaholic. So that was kind of, But when I first started writing it, too, I also wanted them each to be sort of an archetype, if not a stereotype, but then with a twist. Like originally, Brad was supposed to be homely. He wasn't supposed to be, Curt Bonnem, that face, gorgeous, even, when we try to make him look as hungover as possible. But originally, Brad was going to be a sexaholic who was like homely. And it was only because he could flaunt certain things on dating websites that, kept his dance card full. But then when Curt just came in and stole the part, it's like, okay, Brad can be good looking, all right. With Muscles, of course, it's like someone who looks like, he could have sex whenever he wants it, but, is old-fashioned. And with Ross, it's sort of the career versus home thing, He wants to be a homebody, but he still wants to work. So, yeah. Nathan, I guess Nathan didn't really have like a twist of archetype. He's, a dandy, but he's not cocky. He's not, I know a lot of people who like dress to the nines and they're so full of themselves. I think Nathan dresses the way he does because he's more insecure than that he's super hyperly secure.
Well, I'm glad you threw the Sex and you brought the Sex and the City reference up earlier because I feel as though the three supporting gals were pieces of her personality, and it kind of is the same thing with Muscles and Brad and Ross having the friendships that Nathan has with them bring out those specific sides of his personality, and personally I find Nathan utterly adorable, but that's besides the point.
God bless you. Because everyone's like, oh, David, oh, Jeffrey, oh, Curt. Hello, I'm over here. Thank you. I wrote the thing. Oh, you're a great writer, but send us pictures of them without their shirts. No, I'm not a pimp. It's funny. I used to joke with Arvin if we ever had a final episode. My first idea for a series finale was that Nathan goes to yet another shrink, and we discover that the other three guys are Nathan's a split personality, and all four of the characters are actually just Nathan. Arvin put his foot down pretty hard on that. He's like, no.
My last question is definitely a camp question.
Cool.
Right now, my personal diva is having her Madam X surge. Who is your diva?
Joan Collins.
Work.
I'd be embarrassed to see. The thing is, for a variety of reasons, she was one of the first actors I saw on TV who kind of like clued me into what acting was. I remember seeing her on Batman when I was really young. She played the Stein.
Yeah. Oh my God.
One of the villains.
Wow.
And then just like 2 weeks later, I saw her on a rerun of Star Trek, City on the Edge of Forever. And she was one of the first actresses where I went, okay, these people they're play act. Okay, these aren't real people. This isn't really happening. And then like a few years later, I read in a movie magazine that she and I shared the same birthday, not the same year, but the same day. And I don't know. I always admire actors the most who are able to just stick at it, stick with it. The ones who longevity is I think a very admirable, difficult thing to pull off.
Well, then I'm going to throw a fourth one in. How do you feel about her giant ant movie?
Oh God.
I'm family. I had to. The first thing that comes to mind actually has nothing to do with her. It's the opening narration, and Lawrence, my husband, and I use this as an inside joke all the time. The host says something like, "The response to the Queen is obligatory." Did you hear that? Obligatory. So every so often we'll be at a movie or something, we'll just turn to each other and went, obligatory. Nice. Well, good luck at the festival, and thank you. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple more things that I'd like to talk about before we let you go, and one is that you posted on Instagram about a book with your gorgeous father in the photo. Tell us about that.
The book is it's finished except for the last chapter, which because the book starts with me as a wannabe gay actor growing up in Indiana, I thought a chapter about this festival would be a great way to end the book. So so that chapter hasn't been written. The rest is done. It's called Sub-Lebrity. Not celebrity, but sub-lebrity.
Sub-lebrity.
One of the early reviews of this series, actually, it was a good review of the show, but they called me a sub-lebrity, and I'm sure they meant it as an insult, but I took it as a compliment. It's better to be a sub-lebrity than a non-lebrity. So, flying under the radar.
Behind the keyboard, hiding.
And being as gay and loudmouthed as I am, I don't think I could really have expected to achieve anything more than sub-lebrity. So that's the name of it. I hope to have it out by the end of the year. I have one publisher who's kind of interested, or I may just self-publish. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
we'll come back
really
when
easy
you
to do these days.
Thank you.
And definitely. We want to
and thank you for asking
about it.
Out. Cool.
You're welcome.
Lots of names, lots of the whole story of old dogs, the whole Cindy Brady debacle, the pretty much every celebrity I've ever encountered in LA is in there. It's I've jokingly referred to it as a non-famous person's Hollywood memoir.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll definitely need to read that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And the last question I have for you is
dun, dun, dun.
Season 5.
Season
now
5.
I'm gonna blow the airwaves open. Are we getting it? Are we not getting it? What are you doing to us? Let's go.
Well, it's funny. It after that last special, we were planning it. I had written it, and then there was an election, and social media just became consumed with political outrage. And I thought it's impossible. We can't cut through this. So I went through kind of a 6-month mourning period, literally. I mean, not mourning like someone died, but just sort of kind of like getting my mind to just buy that, okay, the show's done. And every 3 months, someone would say, oh, you got to do more, and you got to do more, you got to do more. And then since
you got to do more, you got to do more, you got to do more.
Well, we just put the show on. We put the show on Amazon Prime less than 2 months ago, and I'm stunned by how many people have watched. I mean, far more than whoever watched it on YouTube. and including people who knew about it all along, but just, never thought of, YouTube as something to, like, sit down and watch like a TV show. And the response has been so amazing that, yes, we've just decided we're going to come back for one short final season.
Oh, my gosh. All right, wait.
There you have it.
All right, here we go. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
God bless you.
Quite the pose. Yeah.
I wonder if there are any old dog fans who's like, oh my God, I've listened to him drone on for an hour. Finally.
Only you came in would say that.
Another reason I decided to do it, because I really resisted for a long time, was that, again, watching the shows, getting them ready for Prime and the festival, I was really struck by kind of this like sunny optimism to the show. It all took place during the Obama years. And I am curious, how would their lives be different considering how life is different in America now?
Mm-hmm.
So that all the reasons I had for not doing anymore eventually became reasons why I wanted to do more. So, it's only going to be like 5 episodes. We're launching the fundraiser tomorrow. I had hoped to have it launched by now to announce that on the show, but there were technical difficulties, which we're going to fix tonight.
Where's it going to be
we
on?
have to do it.
Where can
Indiegogo?
we contribute?
Indiegogo?
God bless you. Indiegogo.
Cool.
I believe it's igg.com/@/ODNT last call. When it's up, that's where it'll be. Or you can.
Well, you'll have to give it to me, and I'll put it on the website and stuff. So once you have
cool.
it
I will. Yeah, so much easier. Why, you can't type this while you're. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Listen, Linda.
There was all the talk about Sex in the City meets Queer as Folk and all that, which I don't deny. I mean, it's impossible to not see that. But there was a blogger, maybe it was you, Pam. I wish I could remember who it was. I was doing a radio interview show, and they said the show was Golden Girls meets Dynasty.
No, that wasn't me. I wish I would have said.
That's my favorite. That's how I describe it now, because it is kind of a little of both.
Yep, definitely.
Especially in this final season, as we're all at least 5 years older. I think we, depending on how soon we can shoot it, we may start it with Nathan's 60th birthday. So. Yeah. And that, presents a whole other world of possible storylines and things. And I've written, I wrote a possible 4th season, and then I wrote a second 4th season when I thought, we'll have to downscale and everything. But we can't do either of them because they picked up right up where we left off with the last special. That by the time we shoot it, it'll be 5 years later. So in the show, it will be 5 or maybe more years later.
I'm looking forward to it. I know all my co-hosts and friends here are looking forward to it. I mean, I know for a fact, because I see on your Facebook page, people constantly asking you and drooling to know the answer to that, and there's going to be a lot of happy people out there.
Oh, I hope so, because that's the only way we'll be able to pull it off is, unfortunately we're crowdfunding again, because God love Amazon. I love them, but, they don't pay much more than YouTube does, so, but it's great exposure. And
right.
The new season will debut on Prime Video, but people who contribute to the show, we're going to send them YouTube links so they can see the episodes as they're completed instead of waiting and paying for it to watch it on Amazon Prime. So, one other little perk.
Awesome.
Because, it's not fair to contribute if they don't have Amazon Prime and then where do I get to see it? No, you'll get to see it for free. So.
Well, yeah, and I just want to say one thing about crowdfunding to our listeners is that, you don't have to contribute $100 or $1,000 or whatever to make this happen. If there's, 500 people that contribute $10, I mean, hello.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The 1,000 donors, I'm like,
of course,
tap dancing on the coffee table. But what really makes these campaigns successful are those $10, even the $5, the $20. That all adds up, and a lot quicker than you may think. And even if you can't afford that, because these are weird times we're living in. They can post it, they can share it, they can tell friends about the episodes.
Right.
There's many ways of supporting the show that aren't financial. So, having said that, financial is also a way to support it. So,
and you get something for your money too, for your donations. Not just, of course, the series, season 5, but there's always perks with these things. So
yeah, we do have perks. Yeah, and they're all on the page, and I'll send you the link. Actually, I'll wait till it actually goes live, and then I'll send you the link to the Indiegogo and the YouTube video for it. And I'm really excited.
It's calendar.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's what we first aired the first episode in 2011, and it's almost 10 years later, and it kind of blows my mind. Here it is again. It's pretty cool.
Well, you made an impact on a lot of people, and like I said, they're sitting there waiting for the next season or whatever else you come up with.
And we've always thought about eventually doing a feature, and I have such a great idea for a feature. I don't want to do it as a season because it's grand, not in like they go to Abu Dhabi, but it's very, very emotional, and I'd only want to do it when people have to sit and watch it for 90 minutes straight. So that may happen, 5 years down the road. I don't know, but let's get through this last season first, and God bless anyone who wants to help. And if you're listening and you've never seen the show and you're like, what the hell they're talking about, you can go to Amazon Prime, or also if you're outside the U.S. or the UK, you can still see it on our website at odnt.tv. Oh, I'm so relieved. I remembered to say that half the time I do a show and I hang up and I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot to give the... Sorry, language again, language. Sorry.
Why don't you go ahead and give out your social media, too, while you're at it?
Oh, sure. It's I'm Leon Acord at Facebook. The show actually got booted off Twitter for political reasons that we will not discuss here. But my Twitter is also Leon Acord with no space. And let's see, the show on Facebook. Oh my God, it's been so long since I've done one of these shows or given this out. The show on Facebook is ODNT the series. But to get news even faster, you can search for Old Dogs and New Tricks Hardcore Viewers page, and it's like a fan group, and we share all sorts of stuff there.
Awesome. And Instagram.
Instagram is Leon Acord, and the show's Instagram is ODNT, the series. And as we rev up pre-production and production for the new season, we just started an Instagram account a few months ago, so we'll be posting all sorts of pre-production and production photos that we may only post on Instagram. We haven't decided that one yet.
Okay. And be sure to put the Indiegogo link in your Instagram and everywhere else, too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
Yeah.
To quote a Mommy Dearest line.
I figure since, we're in the age group that we're in now, you might need a reminder.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy? It's only been 3 years, and it's changed so much. I mean, there's a lot of the blogs that followed us don't exist anymore, or there are all these new apps that I just have no clue what they are, or how to get them to work, so I stick to the basic Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and hope the younger, more hip people who follow the show.
Pretty much what I do too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there, I've said it. The big announcement. And I passed the test, the teacher's test.
Well, thank you, Leon, for joining us tonight. We're so happy that it worked out this time. Like I had put in my first tweet, This is literally take two with you. Because of what happened. Look,
after 5 years of doing that show, technical difficulties happen, and it's nothing you can get too upset about. I mean, the producer, you're the producer. You can get upset about it, but I was fine. Things happen, and we made it.
As long as it wasn't a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
I know that, people understand, but it's my own, what is the word I'm looking for? Aggravation, because, it's not like it could have gone out early in the day or the day before or, after the show was over or something like that. It's just like right before we're supposed to go live.
Yeah.
And, not people don't know this, but whether I call in or not, or any of my co-hosts call in, this show goes live by itself. It goes live by itself.
Well, just so you know how much I can relate.
Literally almost 20 minutes of dead air.
We were, oh, God. Oh,
yeah.
Well, it wasn't your fault. No, I totally relate. I rushed home because I was running late. I had hoped to launch the fundraising page on Indiegogo right before I came on the show, so I got to announce the link and all that stuff, and there were technical difficulties, and I will admit I got a little uptight, and I want to thank you guys for talking me down and putting me back in a good mood. It's when you when you depend on tech, because it works so well so often, so most of the time when it doesn't work, I think it just makes it even more aggravating. So
Exactly. But we've been on air almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in November.
Wow. Because you're one of the best.
Thank you.
I'd like to think,
I'm serious.
to think so.
You guys, I've done your show 3 or 4 times, and I'm always impressed. I've done so many shows where you go on, and they're just like, so what's your show about? And I'm tempted to say, well, you tell me, what do you think the show's about? Just to see if they did their homework. You guys clearly do your homework and then some, and it's so much more fun to do an interview because it doesn't feel like an interview, when it's a conversation.
Right, and that's how we want it to be from the start.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you're pulling it off beautifully, folks. So hats off.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you have a wonderful night, and we'll talk on Facebook when you give me the link and all that good stuff. And please take care of yourself at the fest so you don't get overheated. Please.
Well, the temperatures actually dropped into the 80s the night of the festival, so we should be okay. But listen, you all too, you guys, you stay indoors, crank the AC, drink lots of water, fill up the bathtub with cold water. Yes. Take care of those pets.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Leon. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Pam. Thanks, Anthony.
Leon.
Thanks, Candace and David. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Same here.
Have a great night.
Same here.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do you not love him to death?
Yeah.
He's just as adorable as Nathan. If not more so.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I've known, quote-unquote, known Leon for many years, since Old Dogs New Tricks, and being on another show. And he's so down to earth. He's so funny. He's so real. I really love him. And if you follow his Facebook, you're going to get a little bit of everything. I think he puts more out there on Facebook than he does on any other social media, his personal one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's, definitely love the guy. And so very happy to hear there's going to be a season 5.
Yeah. Let's get him back from the book for season 5.
What did you say, David?
And he remembers you so well.
I can't hear you.
He remembers you so well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You made an impression.
Yep.
Well, that could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing sometimes.
Well, Pamela, it's yet to come up
thing.
to be a bad thing with you so far. So.
Right.
Well, some people may think I'm a tyrant sometimes with the way I'd like to run my show, but there's a reason for it, and the reason is just what Leon said. We do our homework. We make it comfortable. We make it a conversation. We don't make it an interview. And our guests are happy when they are here and when they leave and have only good things to say about our show and each of us.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So,
and
well,
on that note, I think our listeners also, by osmosis, take their conversations on social media with a little bit more of responsibility after listening to some of these interviews and some of the commentaries that we have on being more positive in the genre and being more of a light than a dark.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I really do.
For instance, can you give us an example, Anthony, that you've seen?
I can absolutely give us an example. There's been a large conversation online about Beth Maitland, Tracy, and Kane, and I've seen a few of the things that were said on this show referenced in conversations. And as you all know, we are all very positive about that storyline and about the possibilities for those characters. And when some of the haters are saying certain things, to see our words or a paraphrasing of our words come through is for me as a co-host, it's like, wow, okay, that person's listening. So if that person's listening and typed it, that means there's at least 10 behind the screen that are listening and haven't typed it.
Exactly.
And we advocate just basically every show that we do, you get more flies with honey than with vinegar. And that these are actors playing roles, and these are writers that are paid to do a job. And, instead of bashing, give as much positive reinforcement and or positive critical feedback. There's nothing wrong with saying that something's not working or we don't like it, but it's the way we do it and the way we say it. And so seeing, especially like I said with the Beth Maitland conversation, seeing our words come back, it was phenomenally. I was away at the conference, unfortunately, and I didn't get a chance to screenshot and send it all, but I was overjoyed. Candace, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Because half of it's probably just me. The thing is, real quick though, I gotta say this. God bless Beth Maitland, because she, first and foremost, it's refreshing to see somebody who is the actor or actress, talk to not only the positive people who've been praising her, but also some of the negative people too, to kind of make you see things. And I think sometimes, especially in the world that we're in right now, is that sometimes you need to have that mutual conversation of like, okay, I see where you're coming from, but can you see through a different set of eyes? And
it's not clap back. It's let's discuss. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. It's not trying to jump on you or anything. You, as a soap fan, that's why I always say soap fans are never happy, but we're never that upset unless, and it's just, it was uncalled for. I'll say this. It was uncalled for. She handled this like a pro. Some of her co-stars also came to her defense, as, trying to say, hey, look, you need to back off. And I would like to say that Beth Maitland needs a contract on Young and the Restless. There you go.
Yeah. I'd like to throw a second example up real quick, if you guys don't mind. Gina Simone. There's not 1,000 words will not express how classy and how wonderfully played, how wonderful she played out the beat of how that all went down. And I don't remember any specific references, but we were loud and proud on our show about our disappointment and also about how classy she she went out, and it reverberated. She, her fan base went up, her numbers went up, and that's all due to going out like a lady.
Mhm. And you also saw that with Michelle Stafford, to bring this up, is when she was on the talk, she positively, thanked Gina.
Yep.
And I think, again, it's one of those things where we still fans, not all of us, but, we try to create the drama off screen to satisfy our taste if our shows aren't giving it to us. And the reality is that these are people who have to pay bills just like you and I, and that they have feelings. They have a heart. And the thing is that, we all was a little disappointed of how, the industry did things. I mean, this isn't the first time, and sadly, this isn't going to be the last time. But it's just the positive, it's better to think more positive than negative. And
for those General Hospital fans that felt betrayed, that woman sat down not only for lunch with Gina, but she also sat down for lunch with Annie,
Cynthia.
With Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Yep.
To embrace the new Nina, to bring to the table whatever questions Cynthia might have had, and to also pick Gina's brains. Where did you take Phyllis? Where's Phyllis now? And I mean, that's class act. So don't hate on the actress for the choices that she made for her and her family. Unfortunately, those choices had to be made for various reasons that some will know and some will never know. But as long as the continuity of the talent continues, let's just love. Let's just love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I'm just, I can't even say how happy I am to hear that is happening. I really, because that's a major issue with me as far as when you tweet to, your actor, whether it's your favorite or somebody that's not your favorite, or you don't like their storyline or whatever it may be, and you're just mean. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. And you're attacking them for something that's not their fault. And then, like you said, there's a way of saying it without being like that. And that's all we ask. And that's all they ask.
Right. I mean, I posted this out is that, for those who are going to watch the U.S. Young and the Restless, because somebody tweeted it out, that tomorrow the Young and the Restless opening has Sasha, the one that plays Lola, in updated in the intro. And, I know a lot of people have certain things to say about certain people on these shows and everything, but the fact is you don't have to tag them in your negative feedbacks because this is their moment. To see imagine if you were to see your face and your name and your favorite soap opening credits other than Days of Our Lives, because Days of Our Lives only got the hourglass. But, with Young and the Restless, hearing the and seeing your face, or General Hospital or Bold and Beautiful, and you're an actor or actress who've been busting their balls for years or months to finally get that, 1.2 second moment, and then you go on social media and everybody's like, why? Like, they don't need to be in it. You're kind of, it's really sad that we're in this state now where somebody has achieved something and other people want to tear it down or take it away from them to make them feel miserable instead of praising them like, girl, okay, do your thing, girl. Yes, thank you. Like, okay, where's such and such? Because they're going to update it. But this is their moment. And I don't know. As a teacher, I love seeing people achieve their goals. Anybody who follows me on social media, y'all know I'm like the goofiest person, but I praise everybody. I'll be like, yay!
Yeah. Well, I just got a message from Leon. He forgot to mention where to buy tickets for the Indie Shorts Pride Stride in Indianapolis. If you're in the area and you'd like to go and spend the day with them and all the other awesome people that are going to be there for the film festival, you can go to prod1.agileticketing.net. So PROD1, just the number 1, AGILETICKETING.net. Boy, they should have made that easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not sing-song enough.
That's going to be on July 24th. So it's coming up.
That is coming up. Ugh. July's almost over with. Holy crap.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
right around
we're
the
not
corner.
going to give away any names, but Take Two Radio also has a bunch of exciting things coming up as well. So if you enjoyed tonight, and I know you did, and you enjoyed our interviews with, let's say, Laura Wright and Caitlin and Josh and so on and so forth, keep listening because we've got a couple of really exciting weeks coming up, guys.
We can't say anything else. That's all we can say.
Yep.
That's all we got.
Definitely.
We can't say nothing. If one of us says anything, the FBI will come and get them. And I won't know anything. I will not know anybody. I will not. If y'all tell me or try to get me, to say anything, rest assured I can't because I signed documents. They own.
Right.
Look.
You signed an NDA.
Even tell my sister. I don't
you all
even tell
signed an
my
sister. That's it.
Yep. My alter egos also signed it. I don't. I may have. I may have memory loss like Drew Kane or General Hospital. I don't know nothing. But real quick, before we go, Pam, can we take this opportunity to send our condolences to Nancy Lee Grahn?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Most of you guys probably, she lost her mother, and if you guys went to General Hospital events that Nancy was there for, you saw her mom, and her mom, she was so proud of her daughter. I mean, she had great stories to tell. I mean, Nancy's cooking for one. The love scenes that Nancy did on television. So our condolences goes out to Nancy and to her daughter and to the Grahn family.
Absolutely.
It's hard to hear. What is that noise? Okay. Well, we want to say, yes, definitely we send our condolences to Nancy and the family, and God bless each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Well, guys, another great show under our belt.
Yep.
Yep. Next one is going to be July 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to tune in with our special guest. And
nobody's gonna
know who that is.
Nobody better hit me up on Twitter.
Like the Go-Go said, our lips are sealed.
Wait, can we drop a hint? Can we drop a hint?
Miss Pam?
I'm going to say it's a male. That's it.
I had a good one, but okay, we'll take that. We'll take it. We'll take it.
All right, everybody, stay cool, stay hydrated.
You just never know who's going to get one of the hints. So I try to keep that to a minimum.
That's true.
I mean, because look how good you are, Candace, when I tell you guys I booked a guest and I give you some hints, and I'm not really, giving you easy hints. They're kind of general hints, and you get them. You get them.
But see, here's the thing. She doesn't. It's funny because sometimes when she does that, she's only giving me like one or two, and boom, like even before you get to the third, or even sometimes the second one, I already figure it out. I'm just like, I feel like I should be on see anybody who goes on the game show. I'm your girl. So if anybody's going on the game show, let me know.
What's my soap opera?
Yeah, or Guess Who? Because I heard they were making that into a game show from the game Guess Who. I heard they were going to try to make that into a game show. So if anybody needs me, I'm here. If there's a soap opera trivia game, I'm your girl too. Y'all know this.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, we will let everybody go, and thank you, Anthony and David and Candace and everybody for being with me, and thank you to our guest, Leon, and thank you to our listeners.
Always.
Everybody
stay cool, stay hydrated, check on your loved ones. Good night.
Yep.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.